I have an open source project called Dust. It's like Plex for books, and this is the server that I've built, or am building, I should say. One of the things that I want to talk about, though, that I thought was really neat was graceful shutdown of the server. So I have a couple things going on here. The key thing here is that there's a class called Dust Service. It implements service, which is just this. There's not much more going on. This is actually slightly out of date, so I need to fix that. But anyways, there's a router, there's a database, there's this timer manager that runs code on a interval, kind of like set interval, but it manages it for you. So when the service shuts down, we can clear things gracefully and let timers finish if they're running and things of that nature. That's the goal. But my friend told me about this thing called an Abortcontroller. He's a front-end dev, and he's really excited about Abortcontroller and several other things that are somewhat newer techniques in the JavaScript land. So I figured I would see how this could work into our application, and it turns out it can be used to set up graceful shutdowns. So I have a function here called abort. This is just to add a signal listener and remove a signal listener. So that's why it's pulled out to its own function here. So a single reference. In the constructor, I get the signal from the Abortcontroller, and then I add a signal listener for sig.int, signal interrupt, from the OS. So Deno has this built in, so I can say Deno add signal listener, and basically when I get sig.int, I just want to run this abort, which is this. Finally, I set a signal add event listener. So whenever that Abortcontroller is aborted, I call this stop. Well, what does stop do? It tells you that it's gracefully shutting down Dust. It clears all the timers from the timer manager. It removes the sig.int. This might not be necessary, but it seems like a good practice to do. And then removes the event listener on the signal as well, and then tells you that Dust has shut down successfully. So yeah, this was really cool. You can use, the one last thing I forgot to mention, I'm using a library called Oak for the HTTP layer, and you can pass in the signal here as well, so that the server itself will shut down whenever that is aborted, which is really, really nice.